Learning through work is work-based learning, but work-based learning has got lots and lots of different facets underneath it, and there's all the different types you could do. But learning through work is learning in the workplace. It's not it's not coming to traditional courses, it's not working at university, it's doing the same, going through the same academic structure, but actually learning in the workplace. Hence the term learning through work, or learning through work, or learn through work seems to be the generic term.
Right,
for
but work-based learning seems to be a kind of broader spectrum, effectively,
well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, learning is all around. I mean, Honey and Mumford said learning is all around us, and that's why we put it on the front of one of our little leaflets, because we thought, well, that says it all, really. Learning is all around us. And it was...
Who said that, sorry?
Honey and Mumford. It's
Honey and
quote.
Mumford.
It was actually, I think it was Peter Honey that said it. It was on a calendar I had, and we thought, that would be a really good saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
and it worked really well. And it is all around us, and I don't think it was recognised as much that you actually learn at work every single day of the week. And so the concept of learning through work came from that why not do the projects that you do at work every single day, all the things that we do normally. So you're given a project to do. Technically we should plan it, technically we should then carry it out, and then technically we should evaluate it. But we don't, because we just rush through and bounce from one subject to another. But actually that was a complete learning process. So the learning through work has come from that we're on a learning, it's on a cycle, really. And work-based learning is virtually the same sort of thing. You're learning, through your workplace. Learning through work only offers higher education, so it's only level 4, level 5, level 6 and level 7.
Right.
We did start doing doctorates, but for varying, not so much as political, but for strategic reasons throughout the university, we stopped doing them. And I think it's something we probably need to work on at a later date. So level 4, level 5, level 6 and level 7, you can gain any qualification within that. It can be short sort of certificate of achievements, diploma of HE, or the whole honours, or a whole master's, or a PG cert. You can do small parts of it or large parts of it as you want to. Right, well, there's two types of accredited prior learning. Accredited prior certificated learning, which is APCL, which is the very easy to understand. It's a qualification at level 4, 5, 6 or 7, which you can use. So you may come along and say, right, I've got a Cert Ed, 120 credits, level 4. I want to do a degree in something to do with education and hairdressing or something like that. So therefore you would get APL for 120 credits level 4 and start direct entry into level 5.
Okay. Is that then specific to the subject area that you're working in? It
depends. I mean, we've actually had an application recently for somebody who wants to go into hairdressing. That's why it's probably quite high up on my mind. Somebody wants to go into hairdressing who had a PG cert in deaf awareness. Well, it wasn't relevant. It really wasn't relevant at all. And we said to her, you can't do this, you can't have it. So there's certain rules on APL. It has to be valid, which means it has to be within 5 years, and it has to be relevant.
Right.
And obviously the relevancy is very, very important there. So you can use, in most circumstances, your APCL can be used in gaining extra credits gaining credits rather than actually carrying on another course. So it means that people who've been hanging around for 10 years, who maybe have got a qualification 5 years ago, don't have to start right at the very bottom again.
Right, yeah.
So in that case, the evidence is usually the certificate, the transcripts, and the level. So we need to actually have not just the certificate, we need to have the transcript of exactly what they've got and what levels they've got it at, etc. APEL is slightly more complicated. It's accredited prior experiential learning.
Right.
And experiential means learning.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's anything that you have learnt. What you'll tend to do is put together a portfolio for however many credits you feel is appropriate. And it's very subjective because, some people don't blow their own trumpet very well. So they don't think that the fact that they've run a business for 20 years is actually very important. And other people will think, oh, well, I've done all this and I've done that, and I should have a whole degree just given to me for that. So, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult area, which we're trying to we're trying to sort of standardise a little bit, but it is difficult. But basically, you will find that people have lots and lots of experience, and we will ask them to identify where the level is that they've actually worked at. So they may well have done sort of budgetary constraints, etc., and they may well feel that that meets one of the level indicators at level 5, and that they should therefore, they will match it.
Right, yeah.
They'll match it and say, you know, this is how I feel I've done this job, and this is what I learned from the whole situation. So it's very much what I learned. And the evidence can really be anything. There seems to be, because when I read this question, first of all, I read it and I thought, well, actually, you could say, with people who don't go to university, you could say, well, it'd be great, you know, give up 3 years of my life and go and sit in a university and do absolutely nothing, these layabout students, etc. So there is that perception already. And maybe from those sort of people, no, it's not. No, this is actually more credible, because these people are working, they're contributing towards society, and they're managing to fit into their life, getting a qualification as well. So it's different perspectives, really. I don't think employers really understand the concept of learning through work. I don't think they do, because they're so integrated. You know, the traditional way of going to university is so integrated with them that they can't understand how you can possibly get a qualification by not going to university. Right. And that's taken quite some time to get into. But once you do get to know the employers, and they do understand how it's going to benefit them, and how if they pay for it, it's going to benefit them, it's going to help their employee, then it means that their employee is going to be trained but not necessarily leave. That helps. So it's actually quite a high wall that we've got to climb. The biggest barrier we possibly have with learning through work is that we encourage our learners to be independent. So they don't have that kind of like peer pressure from anybody else in the classroom. Mm-hmm. We don't have that, because a lot of them are distance learning, a lot of them are, you know, Cornwall, Scotland, you know, so they don't meet each other. We have the facilities on the website for discussion boards, which are probably not very well used. So these learners who are independent can become isolated, and the only contact they have is with our one tutor.
Right.
And that's probably one of our barriers as well. But that tends to not be a barrier to signing on, it's more a barrier to progression.
Is that a support issue then? A tutor support issue, perhaps?
Yeah, possibly. It's not something that's really come up so much. It's something I think we're aware of, and it's something that you know, I'm constantly cajoling my learners and saying, you know, come on, you haven't done anything for a month, where are you, is everything okay, and keeping in touch with them. And but I think it's probably an area that we could have problems with.
Right.
You know, with progression, but we're getting better at kind of like keeping them going, and trying to encourage them to get more support through, you know, networking, etc., etc. That's probably one of the biggest areas as well. One of the biggest areas I think that has been our success is that we've managed to take an awful lot of spa and hairdressing students, because they have a wealth of qualifications, but they've never really recognised that any of these can be used for some sort of HE accredited programme. So we've got an awful lot of people in that particular area who are working towards their honours at the moment, and hopefully, well, next year we'll have quite a few of them.